I want to take you to Eastern Victoria. Over the last few months, Latrobe councillor down there, Melissa Ferguson, has taken to Twitter to express her view that there are only two genders, male and female. She has also argued that biological sex is unchangeable and the law should reflect that reality for the safety of women and children. All fair points, mainstream views, I would have thought. But now she's being pursued in a taxpayer-funded campaign. 2 weeks ago, a Latrobe Council arbitration court declared Councillor Ferguson guilty of making offensive social media posts. She was then ordered to acknowledge guilt and apologise. Joining me to discuss this is a woman who has also been pursued by the gender activists for holding mainstream views on sex and gender, former Liberal MP, now an independent MP, Moira Deeming. Thanks for your time, Moira. This case with Councillor Ferguson, again, it's so sinister. What she has said is, I would think majority of Victorians feel that way, whether they're Labor or Liberal, and she's being persecuted for it.
Yeah, it's just another in a long series of total abuses of power by people in authority. You know, people need to be really standing up for reasonable freedom of speech. You know, she's being forced to make this false confession or she's going to be expelled. Apparently, this is what her lawyers told her. And I'd just like to point out that Latrobe City Council, they published a press release saying that she was guilty before the investigation had even happened. I mean, this is insane. We have to do something about this in Victoria.
And it's typically women who are the victims of this ideology, isn't it? Because we're the most impacted and it's often women who speak out.
That's right. So not only are we the most vulnerable because of these extreme laws, but when we speak up, it does seem that we are the ones that get expelled from wherever we are. And look, I can't help but see the similarities between her case and mine. And my heart goes out to her and to all the people that are trying to speak up on this issue, because it comes at a great cost, clearly.
And this is why so many people self-censor. This is why so many people don't say what they really feel on this issue, because the cost can be quite high. Now, I want to bring to your attention the Spotlight program. I think you saw it last night. They covered the important issue of children being medically transitioned. And the program told the stories of young Australians who've suffered what is called gender-affirming care. It's always got a very nice name. But it also featured interviews with medical professionals working in that field. Let's have a look.
But I want you to address the real issue.
I want you to address the issue of the mental health harms of no action, of the systematic data about reductions in suicidality, of the potentials of mental health harm.
You'd rather take action, affirm their gender, go through the puberty blockers, irreversible, cross-sex hormones, irreversible. You'd rather do that than actually stop, wait, have a comprehensive medical analysis.
No, again, that's a misstatement. It's a complete mischaracterisation.
And take a pause.
No, there's a complete mischaracterisation of what I said. Gender-affirming care does not mean immediately moving to puberty blockers, immediately moving to hormone treatment, immediately moving to surgery. That's a complete mischaracterisation.
To use your language, why are the vast majority of kids turning up to these gender clinics and being put on that train?
Moira, your response to that?
Look, I've been fighting against this with a lot of other women for about 15 years. All around the world, it's the same thing. You know, one of the first things I did when I was put on the crossbench was I put up a notice of motion for an inquiry into medicalised gender affirmation of minors, and that's going to be on the 18th of October in the Upper House. We've got an information session on the 3rd of October. But the thing that stands out to me is that poor girl talking about the fact that she was a victim of sexual assault, and nobody really cared about dealing with that. They just offered her this fantasy as a solution to an entirely different set of problems. It's just absolutely heartbreaking.
So she said that she was a victim of sexual violence, and she felt that if she transitioned to male, that threat would diminish, and that was one of the reasons behind her transition. And it's not bad enough that these kids are being socially transitioned from one gender to the next, but we're talking about puberty blockers, we're talking about testosterone, double mastectomies for teenagers. I mean, this is grim stuff. This is stuff that can leave you with lifelong medical issues.
They're irreversible. It's irreversible damage. It's, you know, I just don't think you could have a heart if you watched that poor girl and didn't think that we should at least investigate it.
Well, I just think adults have failed that poor child, and I think we're going to see a lot more lawsuits in this area in the coming years. Before we go, you understand you're sitting down with Victorian Liberal leader John Pesutto tomorrow. You are suing him for defamation. Tell us what's on the agenda tomorrow.
I can probably neither confirm nor deny that.
Well, it has been reported by the Herald Sun.
Yes. It
Yes,
has been reported. So my position is the same as it's ever been, which is that I didn't want to go via legal means to get this sorted out, but I am literally in the fight of my life for my children. I do not want them to go through the same degradation that I have gone through, and I'm innocent.
Well, I think it's been established you're innocent, and some of those claims that were made were just outlandish, from Wikipedia pages, the research on them was ridiculous. Are you open to settling this if John Pesutto makes an effort to address what he has said about you? Is this something that can be sorted without going before a judge?
Oh, absolutely. I've been pressing and pursuing for a settlement outside of court, outside of the media. I've been holding my silence as much as I can this whole entire time. Absolutely. I just need to have all the injustices that have been done to me undone. I mean, if you say I've been cleared in the mind of the public, why am I expelled? Why am I not being given an exoneration?
Absolutely. I mean, you would think that this would be a win-win for the Victorian Liberals to address the damage done, bring you back into the fold, and actually focus on, I don't know, defeating the Dan Andrews government. That would actually be a novel concept, wouldn't it? Moira Deeming, thank you for your time tonight.